In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make a pad that sounds something like this. To start things off, we're going to turn on oscillator 1 and 2 and set them to the basic shapes waveform. Then, we're going to adjust the waveform position until both of them are set to the saw wave. Now that we have both of the oscillators set up, we can start to get a wider sound by panning them left and right, and then adjusting the fine tuning by 5 cents. Now, we're going to add a bit more depth by adding 4 voices of unison and then setting the detune to 3%. After that, we're going to turn on filter 1 and make sure it's linked to oscillator 1 and 2. Then we're going to set it to the dirty 12 dB filter and adjust the drive and turn the resonance up. To control the level of the pad, we're going to use envelope 1, setting the attack, decay, and sustain to about halfway, and then turning up the release. To give the pad a bit more movement, we're going to set up another envelope. This time, give it a short attack, a long decay, set the sustain just under halfway, and turn up the release. Then link it to the filter 1 cutoff to give the pad a bit of harmonic movement at the start of every chord. Along with that, we're also going to link it to random 1 to give it a bit more variation. Set the tempo to 1 measure, and then enable stereo mode and link it to the filter cutoff. Now it should sound something like this. Now we're going to be adding a bit of texture to the pad. Start by disabling oscillator 1 and 2, and then turning on oscillator 3, setting it to the basic shapes waveform and adjusting the volume. Then we're going to go into random 2, set the mode to sine interpolate, and set the tempo to about 5.2 seconds, and then link it to the transposition of oscillator 3. Tune the oscillator up 12 semitones, and then go into the pitch snapping and set it to the scale you're using, making sure that global snap is enabled. To make it a bit wider, you can also take random 2 and map it to the pan knob so that the sound moves around you as the pitch changes. Set random 2 to stereo mode if you want there to be 2 oscillators moving independently of each other like this. To get more harmonics out of oscillator 3, we're going to set the distortion mode to squeeze and then link it to macro 1 so you have control over how bright the sound is. If you want to give the oscillator an analog warping sound, you can go back to random 1 and link it to the fine pitch. If you want to give the whole synth that warping sound, you can turn on random 3 and set the frequency to about 0.2 seconds, and then turn on stereo mode. Then, go into the Matrix tab and link random 3 to the global voice tune, making sure bipolar is enabled. Now we're going to be adding a bit more texture to the synth using the sampler. I decided to use the HVAC noise sample and adjusted the volume and made sure note tracking was enabled. Next, turn on filter 2 and link it to oscillator 3 in the sampler channel. I decided to set it to the ladder BPN filter and adjusted the cutoff and turned key tracking all the way up. Finally, open up the effects panel and turn on reverb and delay. I decided to set the reverb mix to 50% and the delay mode to ping pong and the first delay time to 1/4 note. Now, turn oscillator 1 and 2 back on and you should have something that sounds like this.